It's week 11 of college football, and the first playoff poll comes out Tuesday night. Things are heating up more than ever. Welcome into Penn State Sports Night. I'm Kelly Warner here with Evan Lasik, also joined by Hunter Pitkoff and DJ Morrissey, and we are talking college football, the big games this weekend, and what it means for the playoff poll and our predictions. Let's get started with what most would call the biggest game of the season, when number 1 LSU opens as 6.5-point underdogs in Tuscaloosa. So, Evan, what do you think about this game?
So LSU, Alabama, that is probably the best game that we're going to see this season, number 1 versus number 2. I think LSU does pull this one off. Bama's a great team, but Tua's coming back from an injury, and he's still listed as questionable, but we all know he's going to play. They're just trying to make LSU prepare for somebody who's not Tua. Joe Burrow has been a great quarterback. The whole LSU offense has been great, and it's going to be a defensive battle. It's two high-quality and highly prolific offenses going against each other. I think it's going to come down to who makes more mistakes.
The two people I'm looking at in this game, Bama's defense is young, but I'm looking at Raekwon Davis, who has been quiet this year since coming back for his senior season. But I think he's going to have the game of his life on Saturday, and he's just going to show out. And then I'm also looking at Derek Stingley Jr., the LSU cornerback. He is just an amazing ball player, and I'm ready for him to go off. Bama needs to establish one game and protect Tua, and I think that they will win this game. I'd like to hear what you guys think over there. Hunter and DJ, take it.
Well, Kelly, I think that this matchup is definitely going to come down to the playmakers. LSU prides itself as DBU, but they're not even in the top 50 in passing yards defensively in the country. Alabama has Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. They have Randy Moss's son at tight end. A lot of playmakers for the Crimson Tide. I think Tua gets them the ball, and I think Alabama pulls this one out.
Yeah, I am so excited to see the battle between the quarterbacks here, Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow. I think the team that wins this game, their quarterback is winning the Heisman. And there's a lot of explosive offensive firepower here. But I think the team that makes the most defensive stops toward the end of the game is the one that ultimately wins. This is a matchup, a 1-2 rivalry. This is what separates the boys from the men. And history has shown that Alabama has typically been the men. I think Nick Saban, he's the wizard when it comes to making second-half adjustments. And as they say in Tuscaloosa, roll tide, I'm going Alabama here. So let's flip it now to the Big Ten. Another undefeated matchup, noon kickoff, Penn State taking on Minnesota. Last time these two teams faced was 2016, where Minnesota barely missed getting that overtime win over Penn State. Stakes are much different, much higher in this game. No more Saquon Barkley to bail out Penn State. How do you think this game's going to turn out?
Well, this clash is going to come down to speed versus strength. Penn State, very fast team, especially defensively at defensive end. Shaka Toney, you have Terry Gross-Matos. Minnesota, on the other hand, they're a big team. They play physical. They like to run the ball. They have right tackle Daniel Fowle. He's 6'9", 400 pounds. So those DNs I mentioned, they're going to have to use that speed, beat him on the edge. Penn State, very good running the football. Minnesota, very good rush defense. Penn State has one too. So we're going to have to see if James Franklin can actually close out the fourth quarter versus a good opponent on the road.
All right, DJ, most definitely. I can't wait for this Penn State-Minnesota game. Who would have thought entering the season it would be this high stakes? What a doozy. Now, let's go to Evan and Kelly here. I want to know your takes. Who do you think's taking the bacon here?
Well, Kelly, I think Penn State definitely wins this game. Minnesota really has not played a tough competition. They haven't played any competition at that. Yes, as DJ and Hunter put it before, Penn State has had a problem closing out big games, but they closed out Iowa. They closed out a lot of games this season. Yes, there were very close calls, but still, they won those games. Iowa's biggest thing is their run offense and then their run defense, but that's also Penn State's biggest thing. They're both evenly matched, but Penn State has had experience in this already, so I do give the advantage to Penn State this game.
I agree. I think that this game will definitely be a challenge for Penn State, and they have had their problems in the second half, but I think that they can wrap it up, as we've seen since they're undefeated, and I think they will pull this away, and then the big one they'll be looking at is Ohio State. So now we're going to move on to our playoff poll predictions. So Evan, tell me, who do you have in your top 4?
So my number 1, I got LSU, because LSU, I believe, is going to beat Alabama. They're a great team, and after this week, they're still going to remain at number 1. Ohio State, which is arguably the other best team in the nation, they're going to be my number 2. You can't doubt Chase Young. You can't doubt this defense. Justin Fields has looked great. Their whole offense has looked great, so I'm giving them number 2. Penn State, I think, bounces up to number 3 after a win over Minnesota and an Alabama loss. I don't think Clemson is that good. I don't have them in the top 4 because Alabama, after this loss, they're still going to number 4. Clemson should not be ranked over a Big Ten team this year, and they're definitely not going to get ranked over Alabama. They're just not the same team as last year.
All right, DJ, what do you think?
All right, so number 1, I'm going to have Ohio State, led by the best player in the country, Chase Young. Think they're going to pull out and end up in the Final Four at the end of this. Then we have Alabama. They're going to be coming off the biggest game of the season, hosting LSU, no doubt number 2 there. Then we're going to have Penn State, another big win versus Minnesota right there, another undefeated team. And then our only one-loss team, the Oregon Ducks,
Wow.
best QB in the country, Justin Herbert. Watch out for the West Coast.
Man, I am watching out right now. I did not think you were picking Oregon. Now, go to my 4. I'm going to be pretty boring. I have Alabama as my number 1 overall seed. I think dethroning LSU, which I believe that they will get the win. I think they finally have that key victory on their resume. Now, number 2, I agree. Ohio State, they dominate on both sides of the ball. I think they have, 3 players that could potentially win the Heisman this year. That's pretty insane. Number 3, I'm going Clemson. I don't understand why everyone's so down on this team. Look, they're undefeated. They have A-plus talent, A-plus coaching, and at the end of the day, they're going to be in the college football playoff anyway. And number 4, I actually have Penn State. And I put them over LSU because you cannot deny Nittany Lions' strength of schedule. Plus, they're undefeated, and I think they're going to beat Minnesota. So, yeah, I could see Penn State potentially getting knocked out if they lose to Ohio State, but right now, these are my 4 rankings. And so, Kelly, wrap things up for us. What's your top 4?
All right, I have LSU coming in at my number 1, and then I have Ohio State as my number 2, and I have Bama as my number 3, and a little different than you guys, I have Clemson as number 4. I don't have Penn State in my top 4. I don't think the committee will leave Clemson out of this, and all things aside, 2 things are for sure. The SEC champ and the Big Ten champ will be in this top 4. We are all excited to see how the first playoff bowl will look, how Saturday will play out, and beyond. For Hunter Pitcoff, DJ Morrissey, and Evan Lasik, I'm Kelly Warner. Thanks for watching Penn State Sports Night.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.